The difference between marketing in 2023 and 2024 is going to look completely different. With a recession looming while also being an election year, we have to do marketing differently to continue to stand out and hit your revenue goals. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use these predictions to make you money, how to get ahead of your competition, and most importantly, how to implement them into your business. And no, it isn't going to cost you thousands of dollars to implement this strategy. All right, so this first one is a prediction that I think everyone will agree to because you're probably being brought into it already, which is that we're going to start to take conversations out of the feeds and into the DMs. More and more people are posting short form content to create an audience and build an audience and just grow after new customers instead of the static images that you see inside of the feed. And I'm talking more specifically to Instagram here, but people want to talk with a brand and be part of the community, not be talked at. And so we've seen this before, right? Whenever X came out or Twitter came out, it was great because people were able to express their concerns and talk directly to a brand or what they thought was the brand. The same thing is going to happen with Instagram. Instagram released a tool called Broadcast, which allows you to create groups. And so now you as the brand owner can talk and release specific and important information to people who follow you or join that group. And so you can talk one-to-one or one-to-many, but it allows you to start to build a community. Same thing that we've seen, right, with Facebook groups or Discord, etc. We can see that people want community and they want to find their people, right? They want to be part of the in crowd. I remember one of the very first brands we ever worked with, she did an amazing job of creating a community. She did it on a Facebook group. This was probably back in 2015, 2016 timeframe. So she created a Facebook group and then just started sharing more and more information. And it was a VIP group. So everybody in that group got the discounts first. They knew about when the latest drops were happening. It was just kind of like an in crowd. And so she grew that group to I think 10, maybe 20,000 people inside of there. And eventually Facebook stopped showing as much content to them. But the people, the ladies, this was a clothing brand specifically going after women, but the ladies inside of this group were just constantly talking about other things outside of clothing, right? They were talking about kids and like, what do you give to your toddler for food, or what kind of schools, or like everything related to being a mom and to this type of community of women that were in this group. And then whenever the clothing was dropping, it was like you could go in there and take that information that people were talking about. Hey, look, you're a busy mom. I found this out from your community, and now I'm dropping clothes exclusively for you, and they generated more sales. So they grew a large audience. Now, they moved that into another platform besides Facebook, and I'll talk about that here in a second, but they were able to use Facebook to foster relationship. And then honestly, what we did was we took a lot of the conversations that were going on in that group, and then we took that verbiage and then used that as our copy or our text that we use for ads. And so the people thought we were literally talking directly to them. Like,
are you tired of, chasing your toddler around but never looking good? Or is it 9 o'clock at night and you still haven't changed from the night before? Or you showered today? Like
all of these things that was really hitting at the emotional stressors of being a mom. And so it's like, do you still want to look amazing? Do you still want to feel good about yourself? You can do that. These are solving those problems, and wear our clothes so that you don't have this, right? So it's basically like a dividing line between like wear this brand over here and change your clothes, feel better about yourself, or continue down the mundane path of not being able to shower, chasing your toddler around, smelling, like all of those are things that I think may be relatable to you if you're a mom or something here. But my point is that community was able to foster those relationships, and we actually generated more revenue from that. Create a community, whether it is on Instagram, a Facebook group, whether it's on Discord, wherever it makes sense for your clothing brand, create a community around that. And it doesn't matter if you have 10 people or 50 people or 10,000 people. The size doesn't matter as much as the quality of the community. Being able to tell a story will change your business forever. Storytelling has been around for centuries and it isn't going anywhere. But what's changing in 2024? What is changing is how in depth we're going to take our hook story offer. I really believe we're going to go back about 10 years. So when I was going to college, it was the Jersey Shore time, right? 2014, around that era. But like, I think Jersey Shore started maybe even a little bit before that. But in college, maybe you know this or maybe you don't, but so I'll give some context here, is that like, I believe it was on Thursday, people just started doing GTL, right? Gym, tan, laundry. I was not one of those people, but all of my roommates were. They would like stop everything and go watch this show. And even though there was DVR at the time and you could watch it, I don't know, but it was a kind of a phenomenon with like really bad, trashy reality TV. But what I think really drew people into these storylines or to these things were that you got to see behind the scenes of like, what was it like to live on the Jersey Shore? to hang out with your friends. It's like the real world. We went like in a period of time where the real world was really big, and then reality TV show, and then Jersey Shore kind of took off on its own. And now we went into this weird space where that was less popular. And so the digital world moves so quickly. It's kind of like what was popular in 1990 is now becoming more popular again in 2023, 2024. It's becoming more trend setting again. It's taken 30 years. But digitally, it's taken about 10 years for us to get back to what we were doing in 2014, 2013, 2014. And so what I think is going to start happening is we're going to see some new POV, some point of view. What is happening, showing me behind the scenes, showing me more about who I am as a person, more B-roll or a secondary role of like what my life is. For example, you guys may be curious to see what's on the other side of this set. You may want to see that we have Ninja Turtle stuff over here, that we have a Duck Norris who was like part of The Office, or like books that we've read, or the fact that we have a box down here of a bunch of random things that are like super tall Ninja Turtles that we had been putting into our other office across the hall and moved in here, or we have some kind of certificate or a Kobe Bryant signed basketball, don't steal it. All of those are things that you may be interested in. That may be good B-roll for videos. I don't know, but what I do know is that people want to see more slice of life, behind the scenes, storytelling, and not so much in your face, buy my product, nothing, right? So we talked point number one, which is like create that community, and then now invite people into that story and show them more of it. We're all curious creatures. Like, how do people live their life? What do they buy from the grocery store? Oh, they shop at Walmart, or they shop at Whole Foods, or they shop at Nordstrom, or they shop at H&M, or they shop at Target. Like, all of those are interesting things. Like, you may be wondering right now,
Okay, where does Aaron buy his groceries? Like,
well, I don't know why you're interested in that, but people are for whatever reason. And so what does that have to do with growing a clothing brand? Absolutely everything, because people are interested in people. And so you guys may be watching this content right now because you're a clothing brand owner, or you may be interested in this content because you happen to be around our age, or you may be starting your own agency, or you may have found out that we're from Texas. Like, there's so many different things that draw you into the story. The same thing for your customers as well. You may be doing all of these other things, and they finally like trigger something to get somebody to make a purchase.
hey, you're a Texas-based clothing brand. I'm from Texas. Let's relate.
Or,
hey, you're a guy and you happen to go to, University of Kansas. Well, so did I. Like, now I like you.
right? There's common interest in opening this story up, or opening this point of view up, or behind the scenes of what's happening here is going to draw more people into it. And then you bring them into that community, it draws them closer. And so social media, it can actually start to bring people together versus more socially distant. And I think that that is what's really going to happen in 2024. And those who lean into this, who aren't afraid to show what's underneath the hood, will actually start to grow their business. Hold up just 1 second though. I wanted to say that if you are a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand on how to grow it profitably online, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session with us. There are limited spots, so go and find a time right now. You can check out the link in the description down below, and we will see you on the other side. One thing that is constantly changing but is always true is that people need to see your brand a certain number of times before they make a decision. This was actually like a long time ago. If you went to marketing 101 in high school or college or something, like, you have to be in front of somebody 7 times. And that number's now absolutely obsolete. It's more like 14, 20, whatever. But what I want to say is that that frequency doesn't matter. I think that the frequency will not matter nearly as much today as much as the total time. So what better way to get in front of people to spend more time with you than through long form video content? Probably like this YouTube video, longer form content. TikTok, for example, only used to be about 30 seconds. Vine used to be about 6 seconds. And now you can do minutes on TikTok. And I assume that will only continue to get longer to fully compete with something like YouTube. These are the platforms I would be looking at to create long form content. That YouTube, more point of view, the behind the scenes content. TikTok creating that long form content, feed post, and TikTok shop, like going live and showcasing the products that you're wearing, the hats that you have, the clothes that you have, using TikTok shop. They know that people are interested in live selling or live commerce or social commerce. And so, like, staying longer on the platform, what better way to talk to your audience or to your customers to build that relationship than sitting there and letting them watch you for the next 30, 45 minutes. For all of the people who are wondering, like,
who the heck would do this?
I promise you, so many people do. I was actually talking to my sister over the weekend or she was remember, I don't know how many of you guys ever played the video game Tomb Raider. So it was on the computer, and we used to watch my dad for hours just play Tomb Raider. I have no idea why. We were just enthralled with it. So imagine being interactive where you can talk to a brand and say, oh, this looks great, like show me this skirt, or hey, show me these jeans or whatever. And so you're interacting with a brand, and people do watch for 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour. Guess how long it takes for somebody to buy? Of a click of a button, they can purchase right there. So now you've built a relationship with somebody, and it could have just been 45 minutes, but you did it one time versus the frequency of 45 minutes over what could have been a whole year. Another platform I would tell you to check out is Comments Sold for live social selling. There's actually a link in the description down below. We have a podcast coming out. We'll probably link to that as well. They have a bunch of cool stuff kind of connecting with Shopify. But really, live selling as a whole can completely change your business. So there's a brand we started working with, I think about a year or so ago, and we just finished 2023, so we have all the numbers, and we're like, okay, so how much more revenue do we do now because of live selling? This is a brand that previously did like 1.1 million. This last year, I won't tell you their full revenue numbers, or maybe I will. Anyway, we did well over 2, but they did 360,000 off of going live like once, sometimes twice per week, $300,000+ over going live and just engaging with their audience. They built an audience, the audience wasn't engaged, and then they went live on Comments Sold, and you can use whatever, but we like Comments Sold, and was able to generate an extra $300,000 because they were in front of their audience, because they were able to have conversations, and because they were able to figure out their messaging. By going live, they created deeper relationships. Our lifetime value for a customer and the frequency of the amount of purchase that they had skyrocketed. So you can use that in your business to really stand out. And I think it's going to be a huge indicator of what's going to happen in 2024 is that long form content, and you don't have to worry about being in front of somebody a million times, because that's hard. Don't compete with everybody, right? Zig when other people zag. So instead of a ton of short form content, which you should do, but use that short form content to push people to long form and then sell on the long form. Now that you know what is going to happen this year, you need to create content that gets in front of those people. This is all contingent on you creating great content. So I created a video on the top content that is working for you right now that you can literally go and copy. I will go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And PS, make sure you subscribe.